Blue Box. This is the indie studio that kickstarted rumors that their game Abandoned might actually be Hideo Kojima related, Silent Hill related, Metal Gear related, you name it. Announced back in April 7th, 2021 via the PlayStation blog post whose headline reads, Abandoned, a cinematic survival sim, hits PS5 later this year. It's been rife with controversy due to how it's handled its marketing. This is the trailer, the first trailer for Abandoned, a teaser of sorts that a lot of people found suspect because it turns out that the trailer was using Unreal Engine 4 assets, so that already isn't a good sign when a game is teasing itself through existing assets instead of, brand new content. And then as far as the Kojima rumors go, I mean, there are entire articles about it going through all of the connections that people made. And this is something that I'm not going to go over. I've made plenty of videos about this stuff, but people making connections left and right. What is Blue Box? A vast conspiracy grips the video game world. Now, Blue Box was quick to deny that they had any relations to Konami, Kojima, Metal Gear, or Silent Hill, saying we wanted to set things straight. We have no relations with Konami. Silent Hill is owned by Konami. We do not have any relations with Hideo Kojima, etc. Though they didn't do themselves any favor by tweeting this post that read, our game has a real name, first letter S, last letter L, and it seemed to indicate Silent Hill. In large part, it does feel like Blue Box kind of knew what they were doing with their marketing, where they were conscious about the fact that what they were doing was very Kojima-esque and could be hinting at Kojima-related things. And they rode that wave, but it came back to bite them in the ass. They had to continue to insist that we wanted to address the rumors one last time. We are a small indie studio with real people, not related to Kojima or Konami. The rumors got so out of hand that Hassan Karman, who I believe heads the studio, had to come out on Twitter via video to say, I'm a real person, so on and so forth. But rumors are still flaring because of the way this game was marketed, but more and more, we are starting to see that it is highly likely that this is definitely just some indie studio who happened to get caught up in a PR nightmare. Jason Schreier interviewed Hassan Karman back in June 21st, 2021. He said that all evidence suggests that Hassan Karman, the man whose game fans suspect maybe Hideo Kojima, is a real indie developer. And Jason Schreier tweeted, additionally, seems pretty clear that this isn't some grand conspiracy. It's just a guy who promised too much, got more attention than he ever thought he would, thanks to a string of wild coincidences, and is now in way over his head. And then there's this report by Jeff Grubb and by Venture Beat, whose headline reads, Abandoned for PS5 is not a secret Hideo Kojima game. But putting Kojima-Konami conspiracies aside, what this game needed to do ultimately was deliver what it promised. Hassan Karman, back in August 9th, 2021, hyped up this new teaser wrap for PlayStation 5. Man, I'm so hyped as well. I personally support the PlayStation community, and the stuff we have as a team for this awesome community will be mind-blowing, he said, only for PlayStation 5. He tweeted again, responding to someone, are you hyped, Hassan? He said, you have no idea. It'll be mind-blowing even if it is short. This is a great time for PlayStation fans. But then came the delay for the teaser app, as reported here by IGN on August 13th, which caused people to start questioning the competency of the studio. And then Blue Box released this clip on August 10th, as if to suggest it's a small portion of a larger tease. But then came the actual patch that updated the PlayStation app. The patch is now live as of August 13th. Turned out it was just that clip. You can see for yourself on this YouTube video. Playing the clip is just this clip of a person taking a couple steps on a wooden floor. This is what he was so hyped about, what was going to be so mind-blowing. Fades to Black trailer coming soon. It was a whole lot of nothing. I don't know how such a marketing mishap could happen. It should be common sense that people not be excited for this. On top of that, the music used for the teaser. Okay, hold on. Take a deep breath. The music is I Saw Tears from the artist's Deep Sounds off the Late Night Vocals album. They are already being questioned about the fact that they used Unreal Engine 4 assets, existing assets, for their announcement trailer. Now they're ripping music, existing music, instead of making their own. And this is true. Like, if you go to Spotify, Late Night Vocals, you can see it right here. I saw the stars. As if the Silent Hill rumors didn't derail marketing enough, they also released this screenshot, Abandoned Real-Time Experience, which showed a character that clearly was kind of meant to look like Big Boss with the eye patch and everything. It's even using the font commonly used by the Metal Gear series right here. So at this point, people got thinking, okay, this all seems like a scam at this point. It seems like this indie development studio is intentionally trying to draw attention by teasing elements that they claim wasn't intentionally made to look like it was Kojima or Konami related, but it's hard to believe that they didn't know on some level this would only flare the rumors up further. And so people began to get more and more suspicious of Blue Box, to the point where they started to release and look into the timeline of Blue Box's history. And all of this is very suspect. I've tried to release a number of games, but all of them ended in unceremonious or questionable ways. Here is another post detailing similar things, a timeline of everything that happened, and how Abandoned seems to be on a path to be similar to what all of these failed projects ended up being. And then there's this screenshot that is spreading around. Be careful, Blue Box is a big scam, highlighting the entire history of their abandoned projects, or projects that seem to be very questionable. Though NME did eventually manage to get a hold of Hassan Karman and interviewed him. And here's the headline: Abandoned creator Hassan Karman. It's not really a horror game. It's not what people think. Published on August 16th, 2021. And the way he's engaging like he's Hideo Kojima, teasing teasers and whatnot, it's just, you haven't earned your stripes, dude. You are an unknown development studio. You're not Hideo Kojima. You can't approach marketing like Kojima does. He, is a known quantity. People know he makes good games, and he plays these kind of marketing games in a very clever way. You are not gonna be able to get away with that without proving yourself as a developer first. As an unproven indie, what you need to do is show people what you're working on and just get people excited based on the merits of the game itself, instead of constantly teasing the game. And if you're not ready to announce anything, then keep your mouth closed and just work on the thing until you're ready to show something tangible. But according to this NME article, there is a game there, and they know exactly what it is. Hassan gave us an exclusive rundown of Abandoned, including plot details, how it plays, just about everything you could ever want to know. So apparently it's a real game, just progress has been very slow. They've promised a number of checkpoints and release dates, but all of that's continuously pushed back, which finally brings us to today's story. Due to yet another marketing mishap, rumors began to spread that Abandoned might have been canceled. And I don't blame people for believing in this, given all that has transpired with Abandoned and then what happened recently. As reported by Lance McDonald here, Blue Box Game Studios have now deleted most tweets that describe specific future plans for their game Abandoned. 3 months ago, they said there would be a playable demo soon, and also previously tweeted a lie about the reason the trailer app was 6 GB was because it actually contained way more footage, but it just needed a small patch to fix a tech issue. After many months passed, all of these tweets have been deleted. I don't think the game ever existed. A lot of people seem confused as to why PlayStation marketed this game so heavily. All indie developers are allocated a certain amount of marketing opportunity by PlayStation. Blue Box just blew the entire marketing load on pre-teaser hype and now have gone flaccid. Just because there's a blog post for the game doesn't mean that PlayStation's funding this game or anything. It's a PlayStation exclusive, but that was decided by the indie developer. But everything Lance McDonald is saying here, I feel like it rings true. It's just been missed deadlines, broken promises, and straight up lies that have permeated the marketing of this game. And now the deletion of tweets, and this isn't the first time they have deleted tweets, and them seemingly trying to change the narrative. It's just never a good idea to start deleting stuff that you've previously posted, especially without explanation. It just makes it seem like you're trying to hide something. And as cancellation rumors began to spread, Blue Box eventually tweeted out the following day on March 31st, 2022, the following image that has a statement about the cancellation rumors, in which they flat out deny that the game has been canceled. Dear community, recently we have been bombarded with requests and questions regarding the development status for Abandoned. In regards to the latest rumors regarding Abandoned being canceled, our response to this is that these rumors are false. We're working on the reveal via the real-time experience app and online channels, along with the prologue of the game. These were initially planned for Q1 2022, but unfortunately we aren't ready yet yet, as we underestimated our development roadmap. Therefore, we have delayed the reveal and the release for Abandoned Prologue. We will release Abandoned Prologue when it's stable, good, and ready. Now, from what I can tell, there already seems to be a lie in that statement saying that initial plans were always for 2022. But if you look at the PlayStation blog post, Abandoned, a cinematic survival sim, was supposed to hit PlayStation 5 later this year, later in 2021. We're almost halfway through 2022 now, and now all we're getting is information about a prologue that's going to precede the actual game and how that's going to hit later on. So I have to question just how poorly this whole project was planned and how far behind this project is. Now, Hassan has tried to assuage all of this by partaking in interviews with various outlets like Colin Moriarty and IGN. IGN I'll get to in a bit, but with Colin, he asked a number of questions, and one of the quotes that was highlighted by Video Games Chronicle here is how Hassan reached out to Konami at one point because the Silent Hill rumors got so out of hand that he wanted to reach out and make sure that things are okay. He said, I reached out to them, I was stressed out because people thought it was Silent Hill. It got so out of hand, and you're still a small developer, you've never had a big audience, you're inexperienced. I reached out to Konami saying like, hey, you know what, it was never my intention, and they were really cool. So there's an interesting bit of behind the scenes goings-ons, but more explanation was provided through IGN. Hassan Karman spoke to IGN's Destin, and one of the questions he was asked was about the rumors that the still mysterious horror game was canceled. Hassan responded that he did not expect the deletion of a couple of tweets to create rumors about a cancellation, but I feel like it's common sense that if you're embroiled in marketing controversy and then you start deleting tweets, it just appears like you're trying to hide something, and what that's going to cause is just flare up rumors and speculation. And it just happened to be that people thought this game was canceled, an assumption that, I kind of understand to a degree given all that's transpired surrounding this game. But Hassan did not see this coming. I didn't think that the community would respond that way. Basically, the tweets were deleted because some of the concept has changed, and I figured maybe just deleting the tweet and then tweeting more relevant information would be a better idea, which was actually not a good idea. At the very least, if you would have proceeded the deletion of those tweets with a warning and an explanation, maybe that would have assuaged the whole situation, but you deleted the tweets without any notice whatsoever, so of course people are going to wonder what the hell happened. Here's what I think. I've learned now just to keep them, even if the information or concept change, just keep the older information because people eventually will see for themselves what the difference is and then see what's more actual. That is correct. Not to mention that this is the internet we're talking about. Even if you delete the tweets, somebody out there has archived that stuff, so it's not like you can get away from your previous tweets. Just leave them up, or at least, again, provide an explanation and then execute whatever you're going to execute. Now, recall that the statement emphasizing that the game hasn't been canceled, responding to the rumors, mentioned some kind of prologue to the game. There are more details on that via the IGN interview. This prologue is still planned for this year, 2022. We will see about that. I am highly skeptical that any kind of release window they provide will actually be upheld, given how many times things have been pushed back and promises have been broken and whatnot. But here's the part that really kind of gets me. He made clear that this prologue is going to be paid. It's a standalone game, not just a demo. It will come with a full set of PlayStation trophies, including a Platinum trophy, and it's being made to help fund the main game. Once again, it feels like taking a Kojima approach and doing the whole like Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain thing, where Ground Zeroes was released as a standalone prologue to Phantom Pain. And I guess it'll depend on how substantial this abandoned prologue will end up being. But this feels like a bad idea for, once again, an unproven indie developer charging money for the prologue to a game that we know next to nothing about. I guess the prologue is going to give us some idea as to what we can expect, but still selling two separate products and using the prologue to fund the game, and with all the negative optics surrounding it, it's just going to make people even more suspicious, especially when we're talking about a studio that's been unable to fulfill its release windows, its deadlines, and whatnot. Who's to say that, people buy the prologue and then the main game gets pushed back continuously, or hell, never ends up releasing like many of Blue Box's previous projects. I hope that doesn't turn out to be the case, but again, they're untested, unproven. The only history that we have of them is that they have continuously shut down projects and not been able to carry through with their projects. As for what Hasan Kahraman had to say about this prologue, the prologue is not a demo. People keep saying it's a demo. It's not a demo. It's actually a standalone game, right? It has a price tag. It's low because it's probably about an hour, 2 hours of gameplay, which already does not sound substantial. Ground Zeroes, at the very least, was very replayable and had a lot going on for it. I don't suspect Abandoned, the prologue, will be anywhere close to that. Though if it makes a strong impression for that hour or two, maybe there's hope. Maybe people have a more positive outlook. So they really have to nail this prologue right here. If they can make like a PT level impression where it's, it was a teaser for an upcoming game, then great. Except PT was actually a free demo. I think, honestly, this prologue should be free. Like, if you want to win back some trust, well, make a high-quality prologue and make it as accessible as possible. Make it something that'll give people finally an idea for what this game is. And if it's good enough, it might be worth it in the long term. That is, of course, assuming that the prologue itself is actually going to be high quality and enticing. But Hasan insists that it's going to be a reasonable price tag. I hope in the range of $5, maybe $10, if it's high quality enough. It's not really that much, but the revenue collected from the prologue will actually be used to fund the development for Abandoned, right? This is, again, a game that was supposed to come out at the end of 2021, and if they feel like they don't have the funds to complete the main game, again, I have to wonder just how this game was planned out, because it feels very poor. And look, I sympathize with the fact that ultimately this is an indie developer. He can't do like a free PT demo because he doesn't have the funds, and he needs to fund the base game and their financial issues and all that. Like, I get that there are hardships in being an indie developer, and that's where I can potentially give Hasan and Blue Box some benefit of the doubt, but they have to like start looking at the way they've been conducting themselves in the marketing and understand that ultimately they're selling a commercial product and people are going to be on the lookout for suspicious activity, especially in a gaming landscape that, especially in modern times, has been rife with suspicious activity, especially from the AAA landscape, but some indie devs have also behaved shadily as well, and currently Hasan Kahraman and Blue Box are in the spectrum of this seems rather shady, and it's up to them to disprove those notions. Alongside the prologue, Kahraman said that the team has plans to add new content for Abandoned's long-dormant real-time experience app throughout 2022. I certainly hope that whatever the next content is beyond a 5-second clip of someone walking through wooden floor. The direct quote reads, "Sometime after the prologue, we'll actually start releasing bit by bit more footage, more trailers of the base game." Yeah, we'll see about that, and we'll see if it's actually anything exciting. Finally, Kahraman, perhaps understandably at this point, didn't say exactly when any of this new content would arrive and explained that he's in something of a dilemma about how to reveal the game. It's probably a good idea for Hasan Kahraman and Blue Box to not talk about any release windows or anything whatsoever until they're absolutely sure they have something ready to show in a timely fashion. But in regards to the dilemma about revealing the game, Hasan Kahraman said the reason why people haven't seen anything of the game yet, any development of the game yet, is simply because, and to describe it in one word, I am scared. I'm not going to lie. The reason why I'm scared is because it's a personal work. It's something personal. I'm not working for Ubisoft. I'm not working for a AAA publisher who tells me what to do, who basically tells me what game I should make. It's something personal in the development progress. Not everyone might get it because gamers don't understand what in development means. Gamers don't care about that. No, we do care. It's just you haven't really shown us anything in development. All you've shown us is a 5-second clip of someone walking through a wooden floor while hyping this up as something mind-blowing. That has nothing to do with gamers not caring about the development and progress side of things. They do. It's just you haven't shown us anything. Your deadlines have gone unfulfilled and pushed back constantly. There's just an impression that you're not a very well-organized studio, and therefore there are questions about whether the game itself is being developed in an efficient manner, whether the game itself can succeed in an environment so seemingly chaotic where it feels like they're kind of building the tracks as the train is going, where it feels like they don't really know what they're doing, and it just creates a certain optic, a certain perception that you need to try to disprove at this point. The gamers only care about what they're seeing at the moment, and I'm between these two choices where I either decide to actually show some development now, the progress, to share with the world the development progress of Abandon, and between the choice of whether I should wait just to do a proper reveal. I'm still in between choices because if I do the first scenario, I'm afraid that people might, it's just scary. That's just basically what I'm trying to say. I'm confused if I'm going to eventually show development footage of the game, that it's a matter of presentation of how you present it to the world, and that's where I'm looking at right now. If I'm able to present it a good way, then I might put it up on Twitter. Yeah. Look, on some level, I can relate to being scared of putting your work out there because you put so much of yourself into it and you feel almost vulnerable putting it out there for people to judge and all these things. I totally get that and I sympathize with that. But look, if you're going to get into the business of making games, and it is a business on some level, and you are interacting with audiences who you are trying to say, hey, give me your money for this thing, you have to understand just like basic marketing, the basic do's and don'ts. And you've been doing a lot of don'ts, and I hope you're learning along the way. And at the very least, he's admitting that he's made a lot of mistakes, and you know, mistakes can happen, but it's just when mistakes feel like they're repeating over and over and over again, and when it feels like this is a studio that's way in over their heads, it just feels like they don't really know what they're doing. It just paints the picture that maybe they don't know what they're doing with the game either. And I hope I'm 100% wrong on that front. I hope at the end of the day, this ends up being some redemption story when the game actually launches. I hope it ends up being as unique and enticing as he's advertising it to be. But right now, I think the priority is once you have something substantial and representative of the game to show it, put it out there. I mean, at this point, your marketing is so kind of botched that maybe it's a good idea to just present something now. Just give us a summary of what this game even is and show us some concept art, some of the ideas behind it. Just like, at the very least, show us some aspects of your vision, because right now, a lot of people don't even think there's actually a game there. The perception right now is that this project is so far behind that, you know, there's just nothing really to show for it, and that a 2022 release window for the prologue even seems unrealistic. But obviously, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the studio. It's just that's kind of the perception that they're generating with how they're handling themselves. Now, beyond IGN, Blue Box actually reached out to me via Twitter private messages. Prior to that, I had retweeted this Blue Box statement in which they denied cancellation rumors. And I said, I want to believe Blue Box isn't stringing us along, and I'm sympathetic towards the difficulties of being an indie dev. But from Blue Box's questionable past history to their constantly questionable mishandling of marketing and promises, Abandon feels like a giant red flag. And so in response, this is what they said. Hello, Yang. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to say that we totally understand why you're leaning towards Abandon being a hoax. I'm not saying it's a hoax. I do believe that they are working on something real here. I just think it's being very mishandled to the point where it's very difficult for me to have faith in this project, is mainly what it is. But as I said, we understand you leaning towards this being a hoax because of our past and not reveal the game yet. We're just a small indie team working on a game we're passionate about. We believe in it. We want to show off the game in a state that we are comfortable with. That's all well and good, but stop hyping stuff up. Stop with the teasers for teasers. Just when you're ready to show the game, show it. Until then, I'd say just stop uttering words and teases and stop deleting stuff. Just like go radio silent until you're ready to show something. We're doing our best to get it out there fast but stable. Keep up the good work with your YouTube channel and stay safe in these strange times. I responded to them. Thank you for reaching out. I'm genuinely not rooting against Blue Box. I hope all of my doubts and pessimisms are proven wrong. Activity surrounding Blue Box and Abandon has just been very strange, unusual, and frustrating for many, which leads to the gaming community being very cautious and skeptical. I do plan to potentially cover these latest developments in a video down the line. If there's a statement you'd like to make on your end that I could relay, or any communication you want to provide that you think may help assure skeptics, please feel free to do so. For now, though, until we see something that feels tangible, I hope you'll understand why there's so much suspicion. And here's how they responded to that. Yes, personally, I do understand. People should be reminded that we are a group of young developers who believe in a game, but keeps making mistakes when it comes to actually engaging with the audience. Yeah, 100% true. We still have a lot to learn. While it may seem self-explanatory to others, for us, it is a struggle. Fair enough. We are always learning from our past. That is why we didn't delay to a specific date just yet. Good, that's probably a good idea. People shouldn't compare Blue Box to a big corporation. It just isn't. That is absolutely not what we're doing. We're not comparing it to a big corporation. You don't have to be a big corporation to know the basics of the do's and don'ts of marketing. I've seen plenty of indie developers working on a small budget handle their marketing well, knowing when to reveal information, when to reveal release dates, showing the game as the development progresses, and assuring people that there is a real product here, and highlighting the vision of the game and trying to get people excited in a way that feels competently handled. As I mentioned, we are a small group of young developers working on something we believe in. Because of how the community says, we ourselves don't even know what to do, like show a piece of the game to show it's real, or just wait for a general reveal when it's ready. Like, we're really struggling. People should be reminded that we don't have a fancy deal with Sony where we receive funds from. Absolutely not. The delays and not showing the game just yet was just coming from us without having any pressure from Sony. They know who they are dealing with and what they are doing with us. I believe despite everything, we still deserve to be treated equally like any other game developer, and Sony really does that. They don't force us to do anything. They even don't force us to remove the real-time experience app while it's just sitting there waiting for a patch. I mean, the app technically works, it's just the content is disappointing. I wasn't expecting for Sony to be like, take that down, because it works. It's just, it has no content, or it has a 5-second clip, but it's basically nothing. And when it comes to our past games, the only audience we actually got for a game was The Haunting, roughly about 400 users, and The Whisper, approximately 2,000 users. But beyond this, we never have had an actual audience, which is why you need to chill out with the marketing and the overhyping and saying this is going to be mind-blowing and teasing things like you're Kojima, because you're not nowhere close to Kojima levels of prominence yet. Treat it like you're an unknown entity who has something to prove, and with that mindset, handle the marketing correctly, stop with the buzz, and engage with the substance of your game. We can't risk to work on a game in where we don't have an audience. These games were listed on IndieDB.com by ourselves, but weren't really successful. Developers always cancel our games before they pitch it to the audience, or even get rejected by publishers all the time. The only difference with us is that we were just talking about it on the internet without having people to follow it. We are here in the industry to make games and entertain people. So far, we haven't done this, and that is truly heartbreaking for us. We do not have any malicious intentions or being deceitful with everything. These are just screw-ups. I'm being completely honest and transparent here. I'm admitting the flaws being made and just want to improve. And you know what? That's a good attitude to have. Definitely more uplifting that they have this mentality now, and I genuinely wish them nothing but the best. Despite my doubts surrounding the studio and this game, I'm genuinely hoping that these mishaps aren't reflective of the quality of the final game, and that the final game will knock our socks off. That is the ideal outcome, and I hope that is what they can deliver. But my job is to analyze the current situation. The current situation is just not good, and I have to be objectively critical about that side of things, while, still being able to hope that things turn out okay in the end. But this is one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on this whole Blue Box fiasco. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.